Have you ever wondered what goes on behind the table at a dance competition? Exactly what are the judges looking for anyway? This is Making the Impact, a dance competition podcast. Each week, we'll cover a different topic related to the world of competitive dance from the perspective of the judges behind the table. While some dancers make pirouettes look effortless, for most of us, executing clean and correct pirouettes takes a lot of effort. Today on Making the Impact, we're joined by two amazing guests who give us some insight into how to perfect the pirouette, from the prep to the finish and everything in between.
Hey y'all, welcome to this week's episode of Making the Impact. I'm your host, Courtney Ortiz, and I'm here with my co-host, Lesley Mealor.
Hello, Courtney. How are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
So good. Really excited about today's episode. We have some awesome guests and a topic that we've wanted to cover for a while, and we found the right people, so here we are.
Yes, we are talking all about pirouettes today on Making the Impact, something that I know a lot of dancers out there love to do. We as judges watch y'all pirouette for your life all the time on stage at competition, but now we're going to talk about some of those tips and tricks for more successful pirouettes from our fabulous guests.
But before we do, we have a Making the Impact award to share.
We do. For all of our listeners out there, as you know, we have our Making the Impact Award that is being presented at all IDA-affiliated competition events this season with at least one IDA judge on the panel. We love giving out this award sponsored by the podcast, and this award can go to any dance throughout the entire weekend that your IDA judges felt made an impact through their technique, their performance, their execution, choreography. They want to recognize you. And now, fun fact about this award is you get a podcast shout out. Your studio and your dance gets a shout out on our podcast. So let's hear our latest Making the Impact winner.
The latest one is from the one and only Streets Dance Convention in Houston, Texas, which means Courtney and Maddie got to give this award out.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So congratulations to the Pack from Spring, Texas for their tap duet, Gravy Waltz. That sounds groovy.
It was groovy. They had tap boards. It was so well executed.
Cool.
Amazing tap training. We had to recognize it.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, congratulations, the Pack from Spring, Texas. And we can't wait to award some more awards throughout the season.
Yes. And before we jump into our episode, let's hear from our sponsors.
Our Season 5 premier sponsor, Francisco Gela Dance Works, will be hosting a unique 7-day intensive this summer in Miami, Florida. Ballet Plus is an in-depth intensive leading students towards developing a strong technical foundation in ballet, modern, and jazz with a highly refined and authentic artistic voice. Intermediate and advanced dancers ages 10 through 22 are able to attend this exciting week-long event with over 60 hours of dancing from an exceptional faculty, including Francisco Gela, Yusha Marie Sorzano, and even Making the Impact's own Courtney Ortiz. Dancers will take a variety of different classes like ballet, point, musical theater, modern dance with live percussion, Horton, contemporary, conditioning, Pilates, repertoire, and so much more. Parents will even have a chance to sit in and watch certain classes throughout the week, and all dancers are eligible for scholarships to future Francisco Gela Dance Works events. Mark your calendars to attend Ballet Plus from June 9th through 15th, 2024, and register now to receive $75 off tuition with our exclusive podcast promo code. Use the code Making the Impact in all caps when registering for the Ballet Plus Intensive at franciscogeladance.com.
All right, Dance World, we are jumping into our next episode all about pirouettes. Not turns, not spins, actual pirouettes that you see on competitions, on the competition stage, and that you drill like crazy in all of your technique classes. And I mean, we're going to talk about all different types of pirouettes because they don't just exist in jazz class. You probably do them in contemporary and lyrical, and of course, ballet. And maybe even sometimes you're doing some turns and pirouettes and tap dances and tap shoes. You never know. So today we have two fantastic guests who are joining us to go over how we can perfect those pirouettes on this week's episode. Our first guest is a returning guest to our podcast. They are also an IDA judge on the roster and the acro king for sure. If you have ever taken acro, you need to get into the acro class with Mr. Drew Burgess. Welcome back to the podcast, Drew. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you so much, Courtney. I'm thrilled to be here.
Yes, and for all of our listeners out there, Drew was on the podcast previously. Season 1, episode 17. Whew, so long ago. The evolution of acro. It was a great one. Such a great chat. So, Drew, we're so happy to have you back. And this time we're talking about actual technique in jazz and lyrical and contemporary and all of the things with the pirouettes. And I know you're going to bring so much to this perspective in chat. So, can't wait.
Yeah, I'm thrilled to be here.
Yay.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, Drew, if you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit more about you, reminding everybody, since it's been a minute, where you're based, what your early training was like, what you're working on now.
Absolutely. So, hi, I'm from Columbus, Ohio. I travel year-round as a dance educator, as a guest choreographer, as a teacher, as a judge. I work for many different competitions. Yet, like Courtney said, I'm part of the IDA roster. I'm a certified member and part of the faculty for Dance Educators of America, for Dance Masters of America as well. I'm an examiner and course conductor for acrobatic arts. I'm on staff at Straub Dance Center in Columbus, Ohio each week. I'm a guest consultant for the acro dance portion of the Ohio State University dance team. So that's been really fun to work with them this past year. I was a swing for the Bad Boys of Dance, and I was a junior Mr. Dance of America and Mr. Dance of America.
Yes,
that's quite the resume.
Those competition titles do not leave. They are still with us.
It is like a little bit of a selling point that some people still care about. So it's kind of fun to say. There's only
and it's
one
like a full circle too.
Yes, it is.
I love it. I love it. Well, Drew, I can't wait to chat with you about pirouettes. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
All right. Our next special guest is a brand new guest to our podcast, but you may have heard of their studio because they've also been on our podcast 2 times. Her sister has been on our podcast 2 other times on Making the Impact. And the studio that I'm talking about, they're known for their turns. We had to have them on this chat, is Expressenz in Indiana. I'm excited to welcome Lisa Curatolo Turpin to the podcast. Welcome, Lisa.
Hi, I'm so excited.
Yes.
First time. Yes.
Is this your first podcast ever?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, how many dance podcasts really even? Well, okay, that might be naive for me to say. I feel like the only dance podcast, actually, the only dance podcast I know is yours. So, well, I might know like one. Heard of one more, but like, yeah. So it's my first podcast. I'm so excited.
Yay. We're so happy to have you. And you and Carla, do you co-own the studio together?
We direct it together. So actually me and my sister, one thing that like a lot of people don't realize is we're 8 years apart and we actually have a middle sister between us too. Oh. So when she graduated high school, she went to Butler University, which I'm sure she talked about when she was on here. And she opened Expressenz like right out of college. And I was actually still a sophomore in high school at the time. So I know. So it's so crazy to like think back on. So I was a sophomore in high school. I finished out because I grew up in Michigan. And upon graduation at high school, we always knew like we wanted to own a studio together or run it together. We actually used to play dance studio in our basement and we had a sign and I'm like kicking myself I didn't save the sign because there was a sign that said our studio was called Dance Explosions with a Z, which is so funny and like full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after graduation, I went to Ball State because it's only about like 45 minutes from where my sister's studio was. And I always knew that like that was my like end goal was to kind of be there with her. So I got my BFA in dance. And honestly, I'm so grateful that I kind of went to a different university that had different training and opportunities because it was much more musical theater based. And I definitely got a lot of jazz musical theater experience that she didn't necessarily get at Butler. So I feel like that's helped us so much at the studio, just bringing and just different connections. Like we have a lot of employees from both Ball State and Butler. So it's been really great, like being able to utilize both universities to like help our program.
Nice.
What a lovely combo platter that makes.
I know. Well,
Ball State is known for their like strong theater department and like their jazz. So that's fantastic. Like their singers are incredible there too.
Yeah.
I know. And like, even like, it's so funny. So like my old professors, they like help us with our props and they do our props and our costumes and like different stuff. So it's just like Yeah, so it's been like so cool. And then like we have butler professors that actually teach ballet to like our kids weekly. So like it's just been like really cool to be able to like tap into both of the schools we went to and like use them to help train our own dancers.
And that only helps them know the kids too as they prepare for college more. Like this is a great thing you have going. Well done.
Thanks. Yeah,
very, very good.
Yeah, very smart. I mean, yeah, that is. And actually, I didn't know that about Ball State, so I'm learning something new. I think that sounds, and that's in Indiana?
Correct.
Yeah, it's in Muncie, Indiana. And honestly, like it's like so surprising, but like Sutton Foster was an adjunct faculty member. I don't know if you know who Sutton Foster is, but like she's like the queen of musical
Legend.
theater. And like she taught me how to put a mic on a head. Like I remember I was like so starstruck. I was a little freshman and she was technically like the producer or like the director or something of the musical that year. They were doing Drowsy Chaperone, which was her original, like she's on the original cast of that. And I remember I was like looking at her and she's like, no, you got to go like this. And she's like teaching me how to put a mic on a head. And I'm like, yeah.
But just to clarify, because I'm curious now, and this is not pirouette talk yet, but were you a dance major at Ball State?
Yes, I was a dance major. I honestly could have never gotten into the musical theater program. It is so like prestigious and elite. Like I did not, like I was always interested in it, but I did not have the singing and acting experience that I needed to. But like through being there, I was able to take like acting classes and even just being a part of that like world and community and like meeting people. It just like, that's exactly where I needed to be. And that's what I was most interested in dance anyway, was more like the theater jazz realm. So it was like the perfect fit for me.
But like the dance majors were able to be in the musicals.
Yes, and I was always joking because they were in our jazz classes and like, well, they were in our ballet classes. They took all their dance classes.
Yes, it's a collab. Like they're very, very intertwined.
That's
nice. So like I like actually like one of a girl, she was like a little bit older than me. She was like Tina Turner on the Tina Turner musical, and like I just remember I like literally took ballet like right next to her. So it's like so crazy, like looking now and seeing all the musical theater majors. They're off like living their best life, doing all the things, but. Yeah, so we took classes with them. We obviously did stuff on our own too, but like it was definitely like collaborated. We did our Nutcracker our senior year, and they actually had like the musical theater majors like be a part of our Nutcracker too. Nice. We just needed more bodies and stuff. So like,
cool.
It was awesome. Yeah, Drew's loving it.
I feel like it's so rare for.
I love all of this so much.
Yeah, and it's just I think you're loving it.
Ball State, Indiana, and Ohio. Way to go! Like.
You're loving it because it doesn't happen very often in colleges. The dance and the musical theater people typically are like, no, we couldn't possibly. And you're like, why? We're the same.
Yeah, we really are.
It makes me excited to know that, just because I don't know much about that program, but to even hear you as a dance major who learned how to put a mic on her head in a musical. Most dance majors don't even have the opportunity to be in the musicals at college. So I think that's really awesome. So for any listeners out there who have dancers who are interested in the Broadway world but still want to get a dance BFA, you can do that at Ball State, and sounds like you can still be heavily involved with fierce musical theater dancers and singers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Future Sutton Foster, maybe.
Love it.
Yeah, maybe Sutton Foster will put a microphone on your head too.
Yes. Sweet, y'all. Well, we're excited to chat dance and pirouettes today, so let's do it. Let's jump in.
It's such a big conversation, Courtney. Where are we ever going to start? We're so excited about this one. I think mainly because like when the general public thinks of dancers, you think of people think of two things: turns and leaps. Like when you think of what dancers do, the dancers can you turn? Can you spin? Can you spin? People are always asking that. Yeah. And I think, that's what kids also are excited about because spinning's fun. And then you have to turn it into pirouetting. So I want to, I guess, get started at the very beginning of how do we move from spinning as a human being who likes to spin and get dizzy to teaching pirouettes, which is a technical element of dance.
Oh,
it's a big question.
So we really try to teach pirouettes like super slowly. And honestly, you don't really get, we call it like permission to turn until you've like really mastered the balance. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
So we like basically like my TI1 class, I actually don't teach the TI1s this year, so sad. Last year I taught them though, but I had to cut back a little bit because I just had a baby. And so I don't teach the TI1s, but I still teach the TI2s. But last year in my TI1 class, like I most of the kids just they did like their prep. So they would go step, step and passe balance. And you kind of had to graduate into doing even just a single.
Right.
So it was like very like exciting, and they were like so excited when they got to be able to do a single. And then I also, which maybe this makes me a mean teacher, but like if a kid started spinning, I'd be like, you no longer allowed to turn. Like you have to go back to doing the passe balance.
Serious.
And I'd be like, yeah, I would. I mean, you do it in like a kind, like I'm like, okay, like you're starting to spin. Do we spin? They're like, no. I'm like, so you got to go back to being a balance. And once you can show me, you can do good technique. You can go back to turning. And, just kind of like reiterating that the most important part is the technique.
Right.
And I'm very conscious to like only make compliments that are regarding like proper technique. Right. So I usually am never getting excited in class, even when like a kid does a double or a triple and it like surprises me. Does that make sense?
Right.
If it's not done like and executed perfectly, I'm really careful and conscious that like my praise is only coming from really good technique, because then they get excited after they do something technically correct rather than just getting excited for spinning around 4 times.
Right.
So, and I think kind of creating that mental shift within the kids that the priority is the positioning. I also am really careful about like just kind of having assistance and having guidance and people for them to look at that are doing what I am wanting them to do.
That's smart.
And making sure that, and it's gotten easier as our studio has grown and gotten like older and bigger, because most of the kids now are doing their turns technically correct, honestly, like at the studio. So I can say like, how does Emily Haas turn? Or I can even bring Emily Haas or like certain dancers in and have them demonstrate. And like, it's just a good being able to like see what I'm telling them and seeing how, when all like, I always say it's like a Jenga, like when all the Jenga blocks are perfect, like it works out, you know what I'm saying? But if one Jenga block goes, it can fall apart, So I think just reiterating that it is more important that it is done correctly than just getting around a million times. So.
Amen.
Yeah.
Go, Drew.
Passing the torch to someone else.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, I have a similar approach. It's all about balancing, really. Like you have to show me a 10 count balance from a 6-step before I even let you do a single pirouette or a double pirouette. Like you need to be able to hold it as like 10 counts, because if I see that you can hold a balance for 10 full counts, there's a good chance I will be able to see you eventually turn for 10 counts.
Yes.
So although the double is like we wish we all had that perfect pill to give everybody for a perfect double pirouette on both sides of their body. I wish we could capsule it and make it and make millions off of it. But long and short, it's about balance. So we balance at the bar, we balance in the center, we balance going across the floor. I make my kids do a lot of plank passe variations, and then I make them take off their arms, like the opposite arm has leg. So that way they have to understand the squareness of their shoulders to hips, like basically keeping that like alignment solid. We talk about like 4 parts of the rib cage being closed together and like a zipped up vest. We do a lot of like waddle spots and like spotting exercises too. So like we'll like waddle to like focus on keeping a chin flat.
I'm sorry, what's a waddle? I need more.
Like just like scooting around, like like scooting around and then snapping.
Oh, I see.
And then going the other way, like just like a penguin waddle, if you will.
I was on the same page. Yeah.
Okay. So then like you can also upgrade that to like eventually like a half pony instead of it just being a waddle, and then you can snap their head around.
Okay. So like a quarter turn, like a passe down and a slight rotation.
We do like a quarter turn, we do a half turn, we do a 3/4 turn, we do a single. But one of my emphasis with my kids is that we actually try to finish the pirouette up and not finish the pirouette down into the floor. Like a lot of kids want to just try to lift their passe leg and put it right back down and spin as fast as they can without actually finding the correct shape and position and maintaining the true balance that they once had when, we have to do that 10 count balance. So it's funny, as soon as you start letting them turn too soon, like what Lisa was saying, sometimes that technique can literally crumble right in front of your eyes, because there is that like, that want to jump because I did a single, I want to do 3 now. Like they want to just push for more and more when you really have to like keep a lid on it and train it the right way. Go slow and low.
Yeah, I completely
one
agree.
thing kind of piggybacking off of what you were saying, you kind of reminded me about like other exercises that we do. And one thing that we try to work really hard on are actually chaîné turns. And I work super hard on chaîné turns, like the entire year for TI1, because the ability to hold your shoulders and like core engaged and your arms still the entire time you're going across the floor while doing chaîné turns is so important, and that translate directly into your pirouette. So I just think that a lot of dancers, I'm like, okay, we just need to work on chaîné turns for like ever, because
for spotting purposes,
wall spot changes.
Ooh,
that is a like everybody wants to do PK turn wall spot changes, but nobody ever wants to do chaîné turn wall spot changes. Like you have to do the chaînés first before you're allowed to do PKs.
Love it. Yeah, the spot is what, I think the chaînés for sure help you engage so many different parts of your body to understand the mechanics of that rotation. But I think that chaîné turns really get the dancers to understand how to find that snap of the head in the spot. I always tell dancers in my class, I'm like, you should be spotting so hard that if you have your ponytail out, it should be whipping you in the face every single time you do your spot. And then they're like, well, what if I don't have my ponytail? I'm like, then think that
Imagine
you have a pony. Imagine it. It needs to be whipping you in the face like every time to find that spot. But like, of course, the dancers see other dancers doing turns and they just want to spin around doing pirouettes. When they don't even know how to find their spot in a chaîné turn. Like, I agree. I think that's we have to go back to that first. I think a chaîné turn needs to be perfected before we're even attempting pirouette spots. And then with that, like you said, Drew, I love the balance. That is so crucial. I mean, I grew up doing the standard, like, first position parallel, tendu side, prepare back, passe releve. And then we would lower straight down from passe, parallel passe, straight down back into sixth position, like controlled. And we would end in a plie and control it down. But we would, try to suspend till the last second. And it was all, I just know it was so ingrained in my head. And I think that's something that's being lost in how pirouettes are even being taught to dancers, is the lack of connection to the timing and rhythm and counting of a pirouette. Like you said, Drew, like if you can hold a balance for 10 counts, that's a rotation 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That technically should be timed out. It's not just a spin for your life at whatever timing you want. There still needs to be actual connection to the music. And that gets lost so much now. If it's not timed out, dancers don't know how long they have for the rotation.
Right.
If they're not connecting it to if the song is slow, like I forget, someone asked me this in class this past weekend in my jazz mini class. And I said, you can do a double pirouette. There's 2 counts for your double pirouette. On count 5, 6, you finish on count 7, nice and strong in second position. And they were like, well, what if I'm doing the single? When do I finish? And I'm like, well, you still take 2 counts for the single. You have to fill it for 2 counts.
You're not actually rotating. Harder. You should probably try the double.
It's harder, but you don't get to finish early just because you're opting for the single. You still have to fill that through. So the disconnection of approaching our pirouettes connected to timing, I think is something I see as an issue in the way it's being approached and taught, even in choreography for like the babies. I want to see their preparation. I want to see it connected. 1, 2, hold 3, 4, go 5, 6, finish strong. Like whatever it is, it should be very timed out, and oftentimes it's not.
I agree completely.
Yeah,
I wish
that's just another plug for musicality. Go back and listen to our musicality episodes, because that is what that is.
Yes.
Even if there's no music, it's musicality.
I mean, how many times do we see kids on stage just go ba and go? Like I don't even see a preparation. It's just like they just walk through it and hope for the best. And that walk through like is
completely agreed here. Agreed. However, devil's advocate for teachers here, as a teacher, like of kids who've been competing like really since the early 2000s, like when my competitive career was starting to go in a different direction as well. I remember so many critiques on comment taste from judges at that point when they wanted a organic preparation. They wanted a hidden masked disguised preparation. They didn't want to see the pirouette happening. So to counter that, the teachers now took that to all ages and levels.
Right, which is not what they actually were asking for.
Instead of it being like reserved for the dancers who can mask and give a true organic preparation into another pirouette, who are more advanced and more a little more, experienced, if you will.
Right.
Like, for my like littles and my my enters, like I do want to see a deep preparation into the floor, like, because then I feel like you're actually using the ground properly. Like I do want to see a legible position of dance before you come into a pirouette.
Yeah, and kind of actually what you were talking about, I feel like we've kind of had a big shift in our program in the past couple of years, just because like we kind of created new goals and a new vision, and we really wanted to become like a pre-professional program. That was like something that like we were actually trying to do and set them up for success in the future as professionals. And one thing too that we've kind of like noticed is that you really need to be able to just prep in whatever way the choreographer wants.
Yes.
Like we have been bringing in like more people than ever. I think this past year we brought in like 12 guest choreographers. So, and it's so funny because everyone has a different opinion. Everybody wants it slightly different. Some people don't want to see the prep. Some people want to see the prep. And I think like we always say like dance is glorified Simon Says. So like you're like whatever the teacher says, like you're going to do what they say. You're going to do it with a smile on your face. You're going to do your best effort. And like if they ask you to do a turned out prep, if they ask you to do parallel prep, if they ask you to basically not prep, if they ask you to go from the floor, if they ask you like, if they tell you to turn from wherever, like you're just going to do it. Like you say
yes, and
you're eager and you just do it. And I think that's something even like as well, and it's like I said, we've been kind of shifting our program, and we're not necessarily just trying to like win competitions anymore. And we just felt like we needed that for us. But if you're trying to like win competitions, your goal is probably different. Like especially depending on your venue, you know what those competition circuits like, so you may need to like really show off the prep, like you were saying, and like take your time and go slow right on the counts. But at some places that is like what you were saying, the judges might not appreciate it and like that and want that. They might think it takes away from the dance. They might be like, whoa, that felt so like disconnected. And honestly, we've been turning less and less the past few years just because of that. We always still have our token like lyrical dances we do because that's just expressions and we're always going to do it. But like,
thank you. We love it.
Oh
yeah, we love it.
Absolutely.
Please don't stop.
And we will never stop. And like, even in like, we're doing Be Our Guests this year, like they turn and Be Our Guests and stuff like that. But they actually
saw the Instagram post the other day. Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed. It is like a Broadway musical, y'all. It is so good.
Thank you. But like, in that we turn, but actually everything we do is a very turned out prep because if you guys have seen musical theater, like Be Our Guest, Beauty and the Beast on stage, like it's very actually ballet inspired.
It's ballet, very waltzy.
Very waltzy, very ballet inspired. So we prepped in a certain way for that. So I feel like for us, the prep has really evolved to like, does it fit this dance? Does it fit this choreographer? Like, is it working for this piece? And also we've been just kind of trying to teach our kids that like you do whatever that choreographer and teacher says in that moment and try not to think of like, well, this teacher said this is right. Like there is no right. This is a made up art form. We're doing whatever we want. Everyone's doing whatever they want. Like, so
it's all variation of a theme. It's some regard or another.
Yes. So I think that's kind of something that has changed for us within the past like few years. And we've definitely noticed that change amongst our studio.
Attention all dancers. Looking for some outside expertise to fine-tune your dance before hitting the competition stage this season? Then check out IDA's online judges critiques. Our seasoned judges will provide you with a video critique of your routine, just like you'd receive at competition. But with IDA's online judges critiques, we take it one step further with our post-critique additional feedback. Your judge will go through your routine again, pausing the video to give you even more detailed and personalized feedback. You can even request a judge that specializes in your style of dance. This game-changing service has helped countless dancers prepare for the competitive stage and is available year-round. With critiques starting at only $35, what are you waiting for? Click the link in our show notes or visit our website at impactdanceeducators.com/online critiques to learn more and submit your dance today.
So interesting.
Yeah.
Love it. I think That's kind of a good, I like that opinion and that mindset because, you know, there are some things, and I say it all the time, like a plie is a plie. There's a right way to do it for the context in which you are doing it. But there is something to be said for looking forward, moving forward, evolving with the art form, because let's face it, ballet is 300 years old. Like times were different way back then. Like things have changed. So I really enjoy that perspective for y'all.
Yeah. And actually me and my sister now flip-flop, funny enough. So I do a parallel prep in our class and she does a turned out prep in her class. And we've just so we alternate for most jazz classes. Our kids take jazz for an hour and 15 minutes once a week. And so we have just made it an effort that we alternate so that they're constantly having to use their brains to switch it, and they're not getting so used to doing one way.
But just to clarify for that, when you say that you are doing a parallel prep and she is doing a turned out, what type of pirouettes are you referencing with those preparations?
So actually, this is probably controversial. So when Carla first started teaching turns, it was kind of, and like both me included, we kind of found that we got most success from the kids when we did a turned out prep because their pelvic alignment was so much better. When they did the parallel prep, a lot of them swayed their back, let their bellies hang out. Like it just wasn't, I felt like when they actively tried to turn out and we always said, show me your diamond. When they showed me their diamond, they naturally just turned out and pushed their hips forward. And it was such a better like setup for the pirouette.
At the floor.
Yes. So we kind of started doing a turned out prep for everything. It just kind of started happening.
Even for parallel
turns. And yeah. So we would say like, okay, you switch to parallel after you're in it. But I mean, if you think about it, like in modern dance, I mean, yes, in technically classic jazz that you're doing, it should be parallel. But you know, in other art forms or other styles of dance, I mean, like you transition in and out of parallel and turned out all the time. Like that's dance. Like you're going in and out. So, I mean, we definitely instructed and informed them that like you transition in and out of parallel. We also found it very confusing because we liked a turned out prep for second turns because it is done turned out. And we were finding that the kids, especially where we were at the time, that they were really struggling between doing like a turned out prep for second turns and then a parallel prep for pirouettes. And like, it was just like, it was like when they went on stage, it was like all the preps were like wrong, you know? So we started doing that. I'm talking like 8-10 years ago. We started doing turnout preps for everything. And then, like I said, over the past kind of 5 years, we've been transitioning and like learning and growing and being like, okay, we really need to have these kids doing different preps all the time because we were bringing these people in and they just wanted different things. So, and our kids were struggling with being able to change what they had previously been taught. So that's kind of why we just started alternating, and I do the parallel prep for the all turns and then even second turns because some people did want parallel preps for second turns, like Drew was kind of saying, like in this dangerous jazz dance, he wanted a parallel prep. So we just started doing back and forth. And then honestly, all of our teachers, I think, are just trying to keep like the kids on their toes, like they're turning from the floor. They're, you're landing a leap and turning, you know? So it's, we're just trying to challenge them in all the ways.
I love that.
Do you think, here's a question. So, you know, if anybody's listening, first of all, if you don't know Expressenz, you need to go to Instagram and watch, and then you'll understand why I'm asking this question. Do you think this works for y'all because you have such a strong ballet program and a strong teaching faculty who teaches very clearly the understanding of your pelvic placement and the understanding of just body placement and alignment? Because I think that that's all well and good and awesome if you have that foundation to back it up. If you don't, if you're just like, we're going to do pirouettes and you can prep however you want, which is what it appears to be happening in other places, I think it falls apart then. But do you think this works for y'all because of what you're backing it up with?
Yes. And I do think that one of the biggest problems, and actually when like any sort of like studio owner or teacher is like, how are your kids so good? I'm like, it's because they take class all the time. Like our kids take modern every week. They take contemporary class every week. They have at least 3 to 4 ballet classes a week. Several of them are 2 hours long. They take conditioning class every week. They take jazz class every single week. So, I mean, like, they are in class.
And when you say class, you mean class.
Oh, yeah. No rehearsing. We also have this thing called open class, and they have it every week, and it changes. Like, this past week, it was hip-hop technique. Next week, it's going to be yoga. The week after, it's ballroom. So, like, they also have this open class that we just kind of use to fill in the holes, because we were noticing we had some holes in our program. Like, we wanted to be able to offer ballroom and, like, yoga and different things, and we just didn't have time for it. So we have this open class to kind of fill in. And we also have hip hop technique class. That one is optional, but a lot of kids do it. And I think that a lot of studios just rehearse, and that is great for winning a competition, but it's not necessary. Well, and honestly, you'll still do better at competition though if you take class. But
yes,
it's just class is more important than rehearsing. And I think that if you can switch your mindset and also get kids, there's so many places I go and the kids like hate class. I'm like, how can you be a dancer and hate class?
Agreed. Class is the best part.
That is dance.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's less stress because you're not like, class is the only performance where every mistake is forgiven-ish, aside from behavior, right? But like class is that performance where you're forgiven if you mess up,
Right.
It's
your class. This is the safe place for you to try those things out and see if it works or see if it doesn't, and then self-correct yourself and try it again. Like, that's what class is for. It's not just about drilling a routine 24/7 and your pirouette's wrong every time you do it because you never had a class that actually perfected how to do the pirouette correctly. Like, we're just drilling bad technique instead of perfecting good technique in the class.
Yeah.
And that's what's getting lost.
Right. And class also needs to be not just combos, because I'll also like talk to people and they just do combos. Combos are great and valuable, but like you have to do exercises and training, and like modern class should be so structured. It's like a ballet class. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and like they need to be doing things that are training their bodies and helping set them up for success when they're executing choreography. And I think a lot of people just do combos then in class. And that's not really, I mean, that's fun, but it's not necessarily as beneficial for the dancers, like long-term growth.
Right.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
I like what you said, Drew, that combos are earned.
Combos are earned in my class.
That's the treat. That's if you don't get a sticker, you get a combo.
Like arms during pirouettes and like combinations with pirouettes, those are earned. Like you can't give me 8 counts across the floor with perfect technique. Why am I going to try to give you a minute-long combo in the center of the floor? Like, you have to earn that extra thing,
Yeah,
I agree.
But I realized I never really answered your question. But yes, I do think that this works for us because of the teachers and the amount of class that the kids are taking. And I'm not sure necessarily that kind of freedom with the prep would work for everyone.
Right.
I want to go back onto the prep talk for a minute, and I want to share some of my thoughts on it, and we can kind of get into our, debate a little if needed, and a lot of people will be listening. I was brought up learning your prep matches the type of position that you're going to be doing in the turn, and that went across the board in every genre. So even though like I'm known as a jazz dancer and a jazz teacher, and everyone's like, Courtney does jazz, she's a jazz girly, I'm still a stickler for a turned out preparation in fourth position for a coupe pirouette in jazz. That's just how I was trained. That's just all I know. And there was never any question on my end. Like my entire studio never got confused as to what it was going to be, because it was just, if we're doing turned out, it's a turned out prep. If we're doing parallel, it's a parallel prep. So I think that still might exist sometimes at studios, but then it's turning into like, either it's not drilled enough where it's muscle memory for the dancers to understand the turned out prep, and then it gets into that in-between front parallel foot, back turned out back foot, and the heel's down, and it's like a combination of a parallel prep meets a turned out prep, and it's like, what's going on? And like, I feel like that's what we see all the time. Like, I actually see that horrible prep more often than I see a true parallel prep in jazz with the back heel lifted and a back parallel foot, and more than I see an actual turned out prep. Like, I rarely ever see anyone do a turned out preparation anymore in any style, even like, except if you're in the ballet category, but like even in lyrical, like you said, like earlier, Drew, like, I want to see a turned out prep in lyrical. I want to know that you know how to do that.
Yeah. I mean, it's all a personal preference, right?
Yeah.
Like, everybody has their own preferences on what they want. And that's what Lisa was like mentioning earlier in driving home, that kids have to be able to adapt and do all of this, especially if we're going to be training them to be employable, not just great, comp routine, kids. Like, comp routines are fun. Then that's awesome that you can, rehearse and master those. But like, can you take class? Like, can you, can you learn combinations that are, going across the floor and beyond that? So this whole like preparation thing, at least for like where I'm coming from with it, I am from that same type of like school and thought with you, Courtney. Like jazz preparation for pirouettes, like if they're going to be parallel, like coming into that first pirouette, that back heel should be up, that front heel should be down. Like it should have that like basically like forced arch and chasse, and you show that like deep like plie into the ground, and it should like, I don't know, look and feel grounded and centered and like, you know, solid before you press off and actually get something out of the floor. So I'm totally with you in that other sense, though, of like turned out preparation to going into coup de pied devant pirouette. Like that, to me, that only makes sense because that's what I was trained in so often as well. Like it just, that's what drives it home with me. There are exceptions to every rule, though. So like, but I feel like in general, kids have to know the rules before they can break the rules.
Bingo!
So it's a like fine balance, right?
Yes. Call back to Maddie Kurtz.
Yes, Maddie Kurtz always says that. That's where I think the problem is that it's not really being enforced enough. And then I start questioning, well, do the teachers actually know what the rule is? Because I see it consistently across the board. And let's say it's a group dance. It's not like there's, you know, two people doing it right and whatever. It's like everyone's doing this in-between preparation that's not clear. And whenever I see clean preps, I always thank the teacher and choreographer, or I'll thank the dancers. Thank you for showing me a clean prep. And obviously, like we talked about, sometimes we want the preps disguised, and that's fine. But like throughout my time sitting on a judging panel for 20 hours, I should have a very strong idea by the end of that weekend of what your technical training looks like. And I can tell consistently if you don't know how to use your preparation or not.
Yeah, or just use your plie for your preparation.
Correct. Yeah. Like, there's so many holes and flaws, but then they're like on a low releve and did 6 pirouettes and they think that's exciting. And I'm like, I'm still thinking about how bad your prep was. I don't even care that you did 6 pirouettes. Like, then on top of it, you had a low releve. A rel. Yeah.
A rel. A releve.
Well, I wanted to ask Drew, because I'm curious about, you know, you travel so much and you see so many kids across the country, everywhere, different contexts and everything. What's up with the low releve but 15 turns? Like, help me understand what that is, how that works. Is this a product of using a turn board?
Because I don't remember. Wanted to mention for a second here with the turn board thing. Now, mind you, if there's a kid really, really struggling with the idea of spotting their head while they're on one leg, that turn board might help them understand the concept of spotting and trying to stay in place. But is it really helping them actually learn how to do it in a releve? is where I'm at. I just encourage my kids to balance in a passe every time they're in front of the mirror.
Yes.
Like this could be like brushing their hair,
brushing their teeth. Same.
Like balance in a passe, preferably on both sides of your body, and preferably on a red bottom releve. I want like
a red bottom releve.
Like, love that. Like if I were to paint the bottom of the foot, I want to see that red sole or like whatever color it might be, right? But like, I want to bring back red bottom releves. Like, it needs to be a thing again. I want to see an actual releve. I would rather see a beautiful double pirouette on a high releve than 6 pirouettes on a rel-ish.
Baby
releve-ish.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of kids just don't have the ankle strength to hold a releve.
Yeah.
So they like just physically can't even do it. And, but the teachers, I think, are still asking for these turns. So then a sacrifice has to be made.
Right.
Because they physically can't even hold their body up on a high releve. Like they can't, their ankles are wobbling like this, you know? So I think too, it sounds terrible. But I think sometimes bad turns still get rewarded at competition.
Oh, 100%.
Like I see it myself.
Somehow, by someone.
Yeah.
Not me.
And I see it myself and I see it at places. And I just am like, how did that win? Like I think that, I mean, not saying that like it needs to be like end all be all, but if you see someone turning like that poorly, and it's not like, oh, they just dropped their heel. Like, no, like this is this is their standard for themselves. Like, they should not be doing like super high in the top 10 in my opinion, but that's also like my opinion. Everyone has a different opinion, but I think it gets rewarded. And I think So then teachers are like, do 10 turns, and they don't even care that it's on a flat foot.
They're traveling all the way across the stage. Their heel is literally digging a gouge into the floor.
Because they're still going to win. They're like, do well. So then it's like, whatever. But
and like social media is not helping, especially with the like, regardless if it's rewarded at the competitions. Now everything is blasted on social media with the reward, and even if you're not first place overall, a competition can like hand select a dance that got whatever overall or not overall, and be like, watch this amazing turner, and it's just poorly executed turns, but it's a reward because it was posted and highlighted, and then everyone sees it, and then people think, well, if that competition posted this, then that's how turns are supposed to look. So my turn should look like that. But they had a low releve, so I guess it's okay because they posted it.
And she had one shoe on. If she's allowed to do it, why am I not?
Well, don't even get on the one shoe.
I know.
Oh my God.
We were going to talk about it at some point, though.
It's down here. It's on the list.
We had to cover it. Yeah,
and kids are going to cut corners whenever they can.
Yeah,
so like
they're
as a teacher,
go the easiest way possible.
Yeah. Let's be real. We all did it.
Right.
So like if kids are going to cut corners, so like you have to really value it and care about it as the teacher. If you're not going to care about it, your kids are not going to care about it. Like they're a product of you and your teaching.
Right.
So I think when you see it, it just kind of is a reflection on probably or the inconsistency in training that's happening in the studio. Because I also kind of what you were talking about where like, do these teachers even know? I think a lot of studios like the staff isn't on the same page.
Correct.
Yes, correct.
So it could be like an inconsistency in training, and certain teachers have certain expectations, or their level of quality of what they expect is maybe higher than others. So it gets to be that I think the kids just kind of do whatever.
Yeah, you give them an inch of that power and they'll take a mile real quick. Like you let them go with their heel an inch off the floor, they will go lower than that because you've let them. Like they have to start at that like 7-8 inch releve. Like it needs to be massive. Like they're wearing like demi point shoes.
Yes. Yes. And
that needs to be part of the training too, is just like you said, Drew, just be in releve, just all the time. Just all the time be in releve. Do releves like everywhere. That should be a consistent.
And build that correct ankle strength and doing it the correct way. Like not practicing it poorly, but like practice with, a hope of perfection.
And that comes from ballet class. Like as much as people don't want to think that that's where your releve, an actual ballet term, an actual ballet step, your releve comes from ballet. That's why we have to do ballet class so frequently, is to get that repetition and build the strength in our standing leg and our supporting leg to support us for advanced skills like turns. Mm-hmm. So like you were saying, Lisa, like a lot of kids just don't have the strength to find that releve. That's when I go back and I'm like, well, what does your releve look like in ballet? Right. Is it that low in ballet and you're not even understanding how to manipulate your foot and articulate to your fullest, highest releve position? And no one's correcting you, then that's where the flaws in the training are coming in. Because then if they're just practicing 50% releves at the ballet bar, of course that's what their turning releve is going to be. But I don't know. I don't know what's happening, but that's the only thing I can assume because like that's what I see on stage. So I'm like, okay, well, we got to get into ballet class. We got to build our ankle strength. We got to make sure that we're actually self-correcting ourselves. We got to make sure teachers are teaching the importance of fully articulated feet. Because that's going to come into play when we're doing rolls on the ground and we need to step up off the floor to a ball heel. Or if we want to, all of it all connects, but I don't think that people are connecting the dots as frequently.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I guess we should, if we're talking about just like your general pirouette in a passe, what about the passe? Like, I feel like I see like some pretty sad passes sometimes, and they're low and they're not high and they're not supported and the foot's just out dangling somewhere. How much of that position goes into a successful pirouette?
I completely agree that there's a lot of sad passes out there. And I actually, this is one of the things that I struggle with getting kids to do this in our own studio. Like I am like frequently like your knee needs to be in line with your hip, like lift. And like I even do the things like you put the cookie on the thigh and like if the cookie doesn't fall, you get to eat it. Like I'm doing all the tricks.
And, like, we're not above bribery.
I'm not above bribery. Literally. I do the cookie test every year. Like, so I agree that it's been a struggle. And I think a lot of it is hamstring strength and just the ability to like even be able to tuck your foot up and hold it. And I think also like people's mobility is just different.
Sure.
That has been a struggle for me though too. And I like, you tell them to lift the knee and like think of like right there and connecting and gluing it and not sickling the foot in passe.
Mm-hmm.
I actually, as a studio, I am finding that we have more harder time with that than even like the releve and the supporting leg. Like that is one of the things that I'm constantly harping on, and like connect the ankle and pointing the foot in passe. And some people crunch their toes in passe. That's a pet peeve of mine. So like they're crunching the toes, but the ankle's not stretched.
Oh yeah.
So I mean,
that like
the
little thing where it's like
a flat foot, and
like a claw foot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of it, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's something that we're always working on. And like, I think balances and, sometimes we'll do like the hamstring curls, like in passe. So like you try to bring the heel in towards the booty. Does that make sense? You like curl it in, and we do stuff like that too. But I think just kind of reiterating the corrections. I was just getting on my seniors about it like on Monday, yesterday. I was like, that passe, So I think just continuing to correct it. But I mean, if anyone, I guess, has a secret, DM me and let me know, because we're trying to make everyone's passes nice and high ourselves.
So I actually start passe from a bevel. Like,
ooh, I love that.
At least that's
like,
helping teach you a bevel too.
So like, it's all a progression, right? It's all a stacking system here. It's a scaffolding. So like, I don't let you show me a passe until you show me a really fierce bevel.
Yes.
Like we're talking
that's awesome. I love
heel
that.
connected. Like
Yes.
the heel has to be attached in the bevel before it slides up to parallel coupe, before it slides all the way up to a passe. So the heel has to be attached to the leg the entire way up your leg. If you can't show it to me at every or one of those stages, you have to go back to like reintroducing it again and feeling the heel attachment, because perception is reality when it comes to judging dancers on stage. Like, let's be realistic. Yeah. Your toe could be at your knee and your foot could not be sickled, but because your toe is only at your knee in a passe, it appears to be sickled.
That's true.
So that's like why, like, even if you're saying I'm not sickling my foot, well, it looks sickled to me because your heel isn't connected. So attach your leg. So that is one of my pet peeves, is when the heel is not connected in a bevel. If you show me pictures of your kids and they're standing in a sickled bevel, I can guarantee you that they probably have sickled passes.
100%.
Up in their like up in the pirouette. So
yes, that's so true.
It starts at the ground. It starts at a bevel.
Starts at the bevel. I love it. That's amazing.
It does. Oh, I wish I saw better bevels across the board from everybody. I want to see a wing foot. I want to see a
4 jazz walks and hold 4 counts of a bevel. You'd be shocked as to how many kids can't count 4 and 4.
Right.
Count 8.
Or
and
just stand still.
Or can't count in general.
Right.
Yes.
We're clapping to the music with my babies, and they're all over the place.
You're like, what? It's hard. Dance is hard.
Yes, dance is so hard.
It's so hard.
I feel like that with the actual passe position, I see a lot of, like we said, sad passes in parallel passe that get into that little in-between world of a high passe versus a coupe. And then I'm like, but
or
there's
flamingos too. Like it flamingos out the back.
Oh, yeah, and it sticks out the back. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there's a lot of things we see.
Or it's over here.
Yeah, or it's just
disconnected.
And then there's a lot of times where I see dancers try to do a turned out pirouette, but they don't have the rotation to do a turned out pirouette. Like they actually don't practice like proper rotation probably at ballet. So then their pelvis is tipping forward and the alignment is all completely off, but their knees like living in the in-between of parallel and turned out. And I'm like, so what are we going for here? Like and also because their prep was who knows what, I still have no clue what we're going for. Like, and then I start having to ask questions, and I'm speaking like from the judge's perspective. And like, you never want your judge to be questioning what you're doing. Your judge should know exactly what you're going for. So if I already don't know based on your prep if you're going to be turned out or parallel, that's already out the window. Okay, let's see what comes next. Then it's living in this in-between position. Then I can't even correct your technique on the execution because I'm just wondering what we were going for. Like, so that's a big problem for me because I want to see more distinct clarification and separation of a parallel versus a turned out pirouette positioning in the working leg. And that's getting a little bit lost. And I think it's due to lack of ballet training and then improper preparations and like getting that pelvis properly prepped as well, you know, because that's kind of where we started at the beginning, is making sure that pelvis is properly prepped, because it's preparation for a reason. But just kind of fumble through it, and then it's just living in mystery world.
I also find it's important for dancers of all, especially dancers who want to be employable. We need to train these kids to not just like compete only jazz, lyrical, and contemporary and tap and hip hop, but like actually compete and perform ballet too. Like there's a reason why like we need to have like at least ballet experience. You don't have to love like ballet and want to be a ballet dancer, but you need to know how to perform it and how to compete it too. Like these are good training opportunities and good experiences to create that well-rounded and employable human that we want to see.
Yeah, we actually do a Nutcracker every year, and I think that and we like hire the Butler Ballet Boys to like partner our girls so they get like a real partnering experience, and like I think that has been so crucial to our dancers training because you're going to take class more seriously like when you know you have like a performance coming up. Like it's just natural. Like you kind of get into this mission mode and you're like, "Oh my God, I got to work really hard. Like I got this, I have to do this," you know, and you have a real thing that's kind of looming in the background that you're working towards. And also like, it's been like every year kids are like, I really want to be like Snow Queen. I really want to be like Chinese. Like they have goals, and it helps motivate them for ballet class because they have these real goals and dreams in a ballet sense. I feel like a lot of studios, like if you ask the kids their like goals and dreams, like none of them would include ballet. And like, it should, like, you should have a ballet goal, a ballet dream. And like, I think the Nutcracker, and we also do YAGP, but I actually think, and YAGP has been great for us too, being able to do variations. But I think the kids are more driven and have goals because that we do the Nutcracker like with ballet.
Yeah. Love that.
Absolutely. I had the extreme pleasure and honor of judging your dancers, your Expressenz kids years back at a Next Star. And I was gushing the entire time and like was obsessed with basically everybody and everything because the costuming, the choreography, but their technique reigned supreme the entire weekend, which is why, at least in my opinion, everybody like you swept. Like it was a clean sweep, and it was so well deserved. Like the releves were red bottom releves, and that's because the kids are in class. And you can tell, and that's what I was. I should have been complimentary on your tapes. I know I was.
I'm sure you were.
Is good. It's not just you're rehearsing this; you're training this way. So
judges can tell. Judges can tell. Yeah. You know, we can tell if you are actually training regularly or if it's just a well-rehearsed routine. Yeah. I'm sorry about it. As much as like people don't want to hear that, I can tell so much about you in the first 10 seconds of your dance. You haven't even done anything. And I can tell all of the technical flaws.
I always say that. I'm like, they know from like the moment you like walk on stage.
I'll tell you.
And then stand in a bevel for 10 seconds.
Walk on stage. And
if it's sickled, I already have a first impression.
It is very rare that I go higher or lower than my first impression. Yep. 9 times out of 10, when I am judging, I have a score within 10 seconds. Like your music doesn't even have to start.
Yep.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Just judge you on that 10-second stand.
First impressions.
I actually had a professor say once, and I feel like it was a quote from someone else, but I don't know exactly. But I had a professor say once, like, I can tell everything I need to know about a dancer from the way they land a pirouette and the way they roll on the floor.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? The way they finish their turn and then, oh my God, rolling on the floor. Like, you can like learn everything just from those two things.
Yeah.
Yes.
Back to our conversation about, bringing in choreographers. We need to be training dancers to do what is asked of them. Yes. We also need to be making sure that in the context of what we are doing makes sense. So Courtney, you said in a competition, I need to be able to name what you're doing in order to do my job. So at YAGP, if I was lucky enough to judge YAGP, those are ballet variations in the ballet category. That's a turned out 4th position into a pirouette. The end. I know what that is. I can name it. You did it or you didn't do it.
Right.
That makes my job easy. But if we're over here in regular dance competition land where X choreographer came in and said, we're going to do this really cool turn because, we're really cool choreographers and I'm not going to say it, do this. okay, well, that makes my job exponentially harder if, number one, choreographer may or may not have, because this is an artist who said, do this amazing turn, and that's all you got. Okay, well then, remember, in context, I'm over here never having seen your dance before, and you are giving me this turn that is probably kind of ambiguous on purpose. But then when I give you a slightly lower score, like, do you see what I mean? I can't name it because I don't know what it actually was supposed to be if it wasn't this or that.
And was it a turn or a spin? Like
things to remember,
because
food for
we have
thought.
those modern contempt moments now where it's like super, super abstract, and we're making socks, and we're spinning, and like,
and it's controlled still, and it's supported still.
And if it was really good, like, I could probably,
and like, you know, then extending, and I'm like, okay, like, way to go.
So
just track those ACLs, girl. You'll be all right. Like,
so I think it's just remembering the context in which we are doing something when you're thinking about how to do a piece of choreography or a skill. Just keep in the back of your mind, who's looking at this? What's the end goal?
Right.
Because if your end goal is just art, do you, boo. Go ahead, do whatever you want, because I'm not here to judge that. Right. But if your goal is to win a competition, somebody like judge number 2 over here is going to say, I'd really rather have your prep be this for that.
Right.
And that's just the risk you run with doing something that's outside of the quote unquote norm. So I just think that's something important.
I think that really depends on your venue. Because we have noticed, because we've transitioned into conventions, and dances will win at like other competitions, and then we'll go to conventions and they will not. Right. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that at conventions, and usually like those are the choreographers we're bringing in, they're the convention teachers for the most part. Those convention teachers, which are usually on the judging panel, they are more artistic, and they value seeing something new, exciting. Right. I mean, a lot of them, like, I mean, you guys are the same way. You see so much dance, you consume so much dance that you almost would rather see something that's more exciting and different. And sometimes for them, when you're seeing also everyone that's talented, like when we went to the dance awards, like, I'm not kidding you, you do not see a bad dance on the stage. You know what I'm saying? So when everyone's good and everyone does know how to do a proper pirouette in that setting,
how do you
sometimes
separate
seeing
them?
Something that's more interesting and abstract, actually they appreciate it and they really like it. So I think
without the turns in second,
and honestly, most of them don't have turns. Yeah,
exactly.
So I think it kind of definitely depends on your venue and who you're trying to please, essentially.
Yes, and part of that is knowing your audience, which is the first rule of theater. Like, know who your audience is and who you're catering
and know what you want to get out of the experience.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think for, like, even for most of the choreographers we bring in, it's like, I think this is also a lot of studios need to kind of have this approach, in my opinion, is like, you're trying to build connections for your kids to help them. You know what I'm saying? And even just to learn and some people connect with certain choreographers, and it's so great. And having our soloists do solos from different people has been so great too, because for the longest time, everything just looked the same because it was the same 3 people choreographing them, you know, and I can only be so creative, you know? So it's been like great having the kids like build connections and, you know, learn to move in different ways. And like you said, the goal might not be winning. It might just be getting this experience, doing something different, trying something new, you know, that kind of thing.
I think that's why a lot of dancers are in the contemporary category, because they can get away with all of this way easier than if they were in lyrical or jazz. And, you know, it's like, it's artistic and it's the style and it's the fusion and whatever. And they make excuses. And then, but like, again, like that one, like very abstract pirouette you were talking about, Drew, where they're like, the dancers are in socks and they're just spinning around. I can still tell, like, I can tell when they have the foundational technique to do that properly. And like, I'm
they're
okay
pushing
with
their heel
it.
forward and they're, and they're rapping.
You can tell they promenade in ballet class.
Right. Like, you know, like, I know a lot about them. I'm not thinking like, oh man, I wish you weren't spinning. Because if it's a smart choreographer, they should showcase both in that 3 minutes. They should show me that this dancer knows how to find a full releve and knows how to have a clean, controlled pirouette in some way. And then we can change it up and be abstract and do a spin and pull off our leg and suspend. Like, show me the variety. And then I'm okay with it, because as a judge, no matter what, I just need to know that you know how to do it properly first.
Yeah.
And if you're just doing it wrong the whole time, then I'm just sitting there questioning, well, I don't even know if you know how to find a full releve. I don't even know if you know how to find a clean position, So you never want the judge to question it. But I think that with contemporary, that's where the lines are blurred so much that people think they can get away with everything. But like then it transitions into jazz, and I'm like, but can you at least give me a clean prep in jazz? Like, please, like,
Right.
It has to be a choice, not an accident. Like,
yes, intentional choice. Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely.
If your dancer has a passion for ballet and classical training and wants to attend a unique 7-day summer intensive, then join us at Francisco Gala Dance Works Ballet Plus Intensive. Taking place in sunny Miami, Florida this June 9th through the 15th, 2024. Ballet Plus is an in-depth intensive leading students towards developing a strong technical foundation in ballet, modern, and jazz, with a highly refined and authentic artistic voice. And guess what? If you attend the Ballet Plus Intensive this summer, then you'll also get a chance to dance with me. I'm thrilled to be returning back for my second year teaching jazz and musical theater at this amazing event, and I would love to see you there. The Ballet Plus Intensive is open to intermediate and advanced dancers ages 10 through 22. Come jumpstart your summer training and join us at Ballet Plus with Francisco Gala Dance Works. Use the code MAKINGTHEIMPACT in all caps when registering on their website to receive $75 off tuition at franciscogaladance.com. Thank you to Francisco Gala Dance Works for being our Season 5 premier sponsor. Hope to see you in Miami this summer.
One of my favorite things to say is like, I don't need to see you keep pirouetting. I'd rather see you balance. Like, I'd rather see you hold a 4-count, like 4th position releve in like a classic lyrical moment, or like actually take like a dégagé line and then like from a flat foot, go to a full releve. I'll tell you if you can turn or not by watching you balance. Like, so often we forget that like that can also help set our dancers up for success too. To actually like sneakily choreograph a balance where they are forced to get on their leg at the beginning of a routine. And then it's like easier. They can breathe once that balance is over and they know they're on their leg for the rest of their artistic journey through their little performance piece,
So I want to segue into what you hinted at earlier, Lisa, which was how you finish a pirouette and what your professor said. Because we've talked about the prep, we've talked about the position. Now we need to talk about the end. So tell me and Drew, I think you hinted at that you like your dancers to finish their pirouette up. So, and I agree. And I'd love to hear some other variations that we use or see. I know one that I see often nowadays in training that I don't love, but I want to hear what y'all say first. So tell me more about the finish.
I will frequently just say like lift before you land. And one of my like biggest pet peeves is actually when you like hop as you land. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
So they turn and then they do like a little baby chug before they step out of it. So like I'm always talking about like push down to the floor, lift out of the head, lift, and then step out of it. We sometimes land in like a second position releve, but a lot of times we just kind of step out of it. Sometimes we'll go back to our prep. Like sometimes I'll like do turns, like we'll like keep repeating them. Does that make sense? So you'll like turn, go back to your prep, turn, go back to your prep. So we'll do that sometimes too. But I am like definitely in the school of thought, the same as Drew, is that like there needs to be a balance. There has to be a lift, because then it looks like I said earlier, a choice, not an accident that the turn was ending. Like you just decided like 3 was enough today. Like it's not that you were falling out. Like this was the turn. This is the completion. And I also think we try to teach our kids to like be smart turners and know your limit and know when the spot's kind of coming to a conclusion, and don't try to force around one more rotation. It's better to kind of call it safe and end a little bit earlier, do a nice lift, and then finish clean.
Yep.
Yeah.
So to like kind of piggyback like with that for a second, one of my favorite things that I make my dancers do is I make them pirouette from their knee and back to their knee. And then I will also make them pirouette without a plie at all. They have to go from 4th position parallel up to like their parallel passe with their pirouette and back to 4th position parallel in releve. Like they're not coming down at all. So like it forces the kids to either, one, when they're kneeling, be in their deepest demi-plie with their front leg as possible.
Right.
But the releve action, there's zero plie at all there. So like it makes them want their plie and makes them realize how much like they can actually get out of the floor. So sometimes you have to take away their preparation in order for them to like appreciate it more and do it. As far as the finish goes, I just like Lisa, I make them do everything. Like whatever I can think of to change it up, to give it some variation. But like oftentimes, like to me, it just should finish in a like, ideally in a perfect world, pirouettes finish like still in the passe in a releve balance. Like, and then I'm still waiting for, I'm still deciding what I want next. Just stay there. Like, like that's what I want to see. And like, that's our ultimate goal. But oftentimes I'll leave them in their passe and have them plie at the end with their arms out.
Oh, that's nice.
Instead of letting them drop their leg back to the floor, I'll make them do that double pirouette and then finish. And then they have to hold like for an 8 count, just with their arms in second, with their leg in a passe in plie. So like that has started to eliminate the foot dropping to the floor as fast.
Yeah, I feel like that the prep that I see often now is that kickstand, second position, releve out of the pirouette. Like they fit, even if they are suspending. But most of the time, I feel like a lot of them aren't suspending out of that. If they know that that's where their leg is going to go after, they just shoot that leg straight down and releve and arms in second, and they squeeze and they hold. And I call it like the kickstand finish, because I feel like that they just are thinking about the rotation and not the suspension, because they know.
Well, your landing really shouldn't be sharp.
I call it Blair Witch Project. Like it looks like Blair
Witch
Project.
It does.
Oh, that's funny. But your landing shouldn't be sharp. You know what I'm saying? Unless it's like choreographically like a choice. Yes. But like in class, your landing should be smooth and controlled and like soft. So I agree. Like there should be no like sharp, aggressive, like push your foot to the floor, snap your arms out. Like that's really not. You know, your turn should grow and stretch and keep moving until it absolutely can't anymore, and then it finishes, you know?
And I think that's like goes back to the disconnection of timing it out, understanding our momentum, how much time are we filling, how many rotations are we agreeing to in our brain before we even take off. Okay, I'm going for 2 here. I know when I need to finish. Like I think that everyone's just going off like doing free-for-all rotations that are completely disconnected to the music. I mean, same thing applies even to turns and à la carte and turn sequences that we see at competition. Like, I was always taught that the turns have to be matching the musicality. So it's not just like down, up, down, up, down, up, like whatever timing. If the music is this, we are plie, releve, plie, it has like connected to the music, and instead it feels like we're like turning like a top where we're just gaining momentum, and there's musicality everywhere else in the dance. But then we just shut off the tempo and the musicality for our turn sequence to just turn like crazy. So like, you know, there's those disconnections there. And then I think with the finish, I do agree. I think it should end up so we can then go wherever we want to go. If the teacher wants you to go straight down, if the teacher wants you to step in second, if the teacher wants that foot to go back to prep, if the teacher wants you to develop out of it, if the teacher wants you to plie and passe to leap out of it. I mean, there's so many choices on where we can go out of our pirouette, but if we're just drilling one way to remove that leg from passe, then they're never going to be able to transition. And then when you do bring those guest choreographers in, then the guest choreographer is going to be like, well, you don't know how to transition out of this pirouette. What am I supposed to do? We can only do this second position kickstand? Like,
right.
You know, that's
variation
hard.
Is key here. Experience.
Yes.
Lots of different things.
I'm not a fan of the super fast turns. Like, this is just my personal, I'm talking about more second turns. Like, I just don't really love them, kind of talking about going with the music. And I feel like those have been getting increasingly popular.
Yes.
And I feel like the dancers gained so much momentum that there's quite literally no hope to have any sort of control on your pirouette at the end.
It's true. It's so true. Yes. They just kind of flop out of it, and then everyone's just cheering and screaming because they just spun so quickly.
Yes, or they're praying. They're just praying. They're kissing it up to Jesus at that point. They are praying.
And I'm watching it, and I'm like, oh God.
Like,
going down.
I'm so excited when I see like a well-executed turn sequence with a clean finish. Like, you have so much momentum. You just did all like a double float, and you did this, and you did that. And like, Oh, what about fouette turns, which we never see those on stage anymore? I
Classic
love a
fouettes.
fouette turn.
Classic
Like,
fouettes.
I miss a fouette turn, but like, if you have that much control in your turns and all account, you should be able to pull in to a quad. You should be able to, because you've gained momentum, your center is there, your rotation is there, everything, you've set yourself up to be able to have multiple rotations, but you don't care about the finish. You just care about how fast you're turning.
Right. Oftentimes, the final turn in all of Saucon has to be treated differently than every other of the turns in order, if you're going to pull in for more pirouettes out of it. Like if you're like coming in from Grand Pirouette all of Saucon, your final Grand Pirouette has to be treated and like executed a little differently in order to have the control to maintain and what you're trying to sustain with the pirouette coming out of that. So a lot of dancers, they get caught up and they want to clap and applaud each other for going really fast, but then they do just kind of like fizzle out, so to speak. Like the pirouette actually isn't solid. You just did a whole bunch of fast turns in second, and then you like barely could shene out of it.
Yes.
Like,
yeah. And actually the releve in second turns is one of my biggest pet peeves too. Like I feel like you rarely see a high releve in second turns. I think it's because they're prioritizing the speed. Like I really feel like that's like been a thing within the past like 5 years that I'm just like, you can't even go to releve because it's so fast.
It's so fast, and it's not like it should be turned out. Every time you play in Alaskan, it needs to be turned out. The heel is sometimes they're over rotating, and the heel is parallel. When if you like press pause on the video, the heel is parallel.
Yes, standing leg totally parallel, but like support or like working leg is totally turned out,
right?
And like pointed and straight, but that standing
and then
leg
hip alignment. Like I don't understand how you can even get in that position. Like my teachers would never let me go in a position like that, let alone turn for my life like that. So it's just the cleanliness of the technique. It goes back to that foundation and the ballet training that we continue to talk about. Okay, final question. We hinted at it. The one shoe phenomenon.
I never see it.
You don't?
I have never seen, and I'm not kidding you, I have never seen in all my years at a competition someone actually go on stage with one shoe. I have seen it online.
Yes.
But I have, with my own eyeballs, never seen it on stage.
What are your
thoughts,
I
guess in Indiana, it's terrible and you shouldn't do it.
Yes. Ew, David. Not one shoe.
David.
Ew, David.
You look bizarre. Yeah, it looks so
it's a
bizarre.
no for me, dog.
And I consider a turner or a pirouette or whatever those things are called, I consider them a shoe. Like that is footwear. It is something on your foot. Yeah. It is sometimes, you know, the little like foot thong things that kind of go in between your toes that give you a little
dance paw.
The dance paw,
Paws.
Like that one's not covering your toes, so it looks a little bit more discreet, like especially if you pancake it to match your skin tone or whatever. It gives you a little bit of, you know, like it gives you a little bit of fabric underneath the ball of your foot. And if you need that, I probably won't even notice that you're wearing one. But when you have on one that's covering your actual toes on one foot, I can tell.
Yeah, you better be wearing 2 shoes or no shoes. You better be wearing 2 of those, or Suzanne Sater will provide salt and pepper for you to eat the other one. Like, like we need to. I don't care what shoes you're wearing, just give me 2 of them, because like your hip and knee alignment does matter. Like, if you're only standing on one shoe on one side and you're barefoot on the other, your actual hips and knees are now not like actually tracking the same. That little bit of fabric actually does make a bit of difference.
You're right.
People need to like think about like injury prevention here. Like, would you walk outside with only like one rain boot? But
then like, they'll say, well, I need that one shoe off to do my aerial. And that's for safety purposes. Exactly. It is a boohoo. To me, it's either you come on stage prepared, presentationally prepared for stage. You spent $700 on that rhinestone costume and you think one shoe is appropriate. Absolutely not. It immediately is a horrible first impression. Like we've talked about first impressions on this episode. We already know you're only going to turn on that side. I already know you're probably not going to do a tombe inside turn on your right standing leg because you have the shoe on the left. So there's only
to bring up the lack of inside pirouettes we see. So
yes, I miss the inside pirouette.
Yes,
you know, we already know what's going to come. It looks unprofessional. It looks sloppy, unfinished. There's nothing about it that can ever defend why someone would think it's appropriate. And I think that the studios need to step in more and actually enforce this, because they are just as bad, where they're like, well, we need to be able to do the acro and I care about safety for my dancers, then take out the acro. If your dancer can't do the acro with 2 shoes on, then they can't do the acro. Sorry about it.
Yeah, if they can't do it with 2 shoes on, then they are not advanced enough to even be doing that skill. Yeah.
And then if you want the aesthetic of bare feet, then learn how to turn in bare feet and build calluses.
Because there are people who do it very well.
Right. It's possible.
We do it all the time now.
Yeah.
Like literally
really?
all the time. Yeah. We only wear jazz shoes for lyrical because that's one thing that, you know, we've kind of had to adapt and stuff. And some competitions and conventions are like pretty kind of particular about your footwear. If like it doesn't match, like I think they're fine with jazz shoes when it's like classic jazz and classic lyrical, but I don't think they really want to see it in anything else.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to turn in something else, like you better be able to do it barefoot. So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Build up those calluses.
But that's why we see a lot of socks now. We see a lot of socks now because it's trendy and also it allows dancers to turn. But like I personally don't want to see a sock in lyrical. Like that's not what I think of lyrical dance. I think of lyrical dance as a jazz shoe or a lyrical style shoe, but a sock is contemporary dance. And also a sock is I only want to see dancers like teen and over in socks unless you're like extremely advanced juniors and minis. But most of the time the socks, like the dancers don't understand how to still connect to the floor and stay grounded, and the socks are actually restricting them versus enhancing them. And then they're slip slide and like ice skaters on stage. So, you know.
And I personally think it needs to be utilized in the choreography. I feel like I see a lot of people in socks and they're not even utilizing the socks. So I'm like, what's the
purpose?
What's the purpose?
If we're not actually having a slide in the dance, why are you wearing the sock? It's exactly where I'm at with you as well. Please utilize like your costume choices appropriately for whatever you're presenting, no matter what genre or category.
And please wear 2 shoes. Oh my gosh.
Always 2 shoes.
Yes, wear 2 socks, not one.
I've never seen it though. So I guess you just need to watch. No, I've literally never seen it.
I am shocked, Lisa. It's because you guys have set the example. That's why. You guys have set the example in your area that like this is what you should be doing, everyone, and then everyone's following suit. Whereas like I'm telling you, when I travel every single weekend, and luckily now I'm a teacher judge whenever I am judging, so now I can rip the teachers a new one when I see a dancer come out on stage with 1 shoe. I'll always tell the dancer too if I'm a regular judge, but when I'm talking to the teachers, I'm like, teachers, we got to do better. We got to make sure that we're not coming out on stage with 1 shoe, and then I take a point off, and people can get mad. I don't care. I take a point off and I defend why I took a point off, and I said next time you better have 2 shoes on, and then you get that point back. You know, like it's the only way it's gonna change, because you know it's just not. We have to be stage ready, and again, knowing the venue, knowing who we're performing for, you're taking a risk with your judging panel if you're coming out with 1 shoe, because there might be someone that doesn't like it.
It's just so wild to me because you would literally never see a professional dancer with 1 shoe
It's
on.
Never.
Highly unlikely. It is highly unlikely. Like
unless it's like a very like abstract avant-garde like piece of art where like I don't know.
Like they have like one pair, they have 1 pant leg, and that one foot has
like
the shoe, and the other foot like doesn't have a pant leg. That's like the only excuse. But I've never seen like, oh my God. Yeah, no, I've never seen it. So if I ever see it, I'll let you guys know. But yeah, I feel blessed that I've never had to witness that.
I'm so impressed. Yeah.
You are lucky. Consider yourself the lucky one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, I meant to mention this and I forgot to, but at Expressenz, we do have a technique intensive over the summer. And Carla also does like a little thing while they're for teachers. And a lot of teachers love coming and like learning our exercises that we do. So just something like if you want to be able to take that back to your home studios, you could have your kids go too. But a lot of teachers love coming and kind of seeing the training and the kind of the exercises that help you. But like we said, the most important thing is class, but still exercises and things can help too. So.
Well, y'all, this was such a great chat. I learned a lot about different preferences for pirouettes, what works for y'all. We talked about things we love to see, things we don't want to see. And hopefully all of our listeners out there learned a thing or two about how to prep for our pirouettes, how to succeed at pirouettes, and what the judges are looking for on stage at competition. To our fabulous guests, Lisa and Drew, thank you so much for being here and joining us on Making the Impact. We love having you and sharing all of your insight and advice for the dance world. And how we always have our guests lead us out is with one final thought on the chat today, talking about pirouettes. So you can talk to whoever you want, dancers, studios, teachers, any final tips and tricks you want to share, whatever you'd like when it comes to perfecting your pirouette.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been so fun just to kind of just chat with other people in the dance world and kind of hear different things and different opinions. And I guess my final thought would just be like, I think if every dance teacher just tries to use their best judgment and what works best for them and really caring for their dancers and helping them in the best way for like what their goals are, I think the dance world will be such a better place. And I think if we could have some continuity at dance studios and just kind of everyone being on the same page. Like I feel like even like myself growing up, it always felt like each dance teacher at a studio was kind of on their own mission. And I think something that I would love to see at studios in the future is just like every dance teacher being on the same page, the collective goal of like bringing the dancers to be the best they can be. So I think that if everyone does that, then we'll just have a world full of amazing dancers. We already kind of do, but like even better.
Right. Solving the world's problems. Lisa, you're the greatest.
Yes.
I guess I would just like to drive home. And first and foremost, thank you so much for having Lisa and Courtney. It's been such a pleasure. And getting to see Lesley again, too, and talk with her is always the greatest. But I would love to drive home to train both sides of pirouettes, like more than anything. I want to see train and perform both sides of pirouettes, too. If you're going to give me 4 on the right, can you at least give me 2 on the left at some point? Like I don't need to see like the exact same combo on both sides of the body, but just show me that you have experience doing at least a double on the left. If you've got like 6, 7, and 8 on the right, And I would love to see more like inside pirouettes with that as well. And more double and triple PK turns. Like a lot of people don't go for more than just a double PK turn, but like I've been encouraging my kids more and more to work on triple PK turn because it makes their doubles better, which is the weirdest thing ever. But 2, it's impressive. When you're like able to rotate around 3 times going inwards, turned out, like I'm like, ooh, now I'm like really like seeing something here because it looks different. It looks eye-catching. So change up those pirouettes and give us lots of variations and give us lots of both-sidedness. Give us duality of both sides.
We hope you enjoyed this week's episode all about perfecting your pirouettes. Special shout out to our guests for joining us. Don't forget to follow them on Instagram. You can find Drew at Drew Dances and Lisa at Lisa Curatolo Turpin. Also, don't forget to follow Expressenz at Expressenz with a Z. And if you'd like to train with Expressenz this summer, then register now for their Technique Intensive on July 19th through the 21st, 2024, where they will be offering a variety of classes that focus on turns and pirouettes. This intensive has options available for dancers ages 10 and up and also teacher seminars and classes. Register now at the link in our show notes.
Don't forget to follow Making the Impact on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, and pretty much everywhere you listen to podcasts. And if you want more exclusive episodes, support our podcast by joining our Platinum Premium membership for only $5 a month. Subscribers receive free Making the Impact stickers, shout-outs live on the air, ad-free listening, and exclusive access to our Q&A episodes for members only. Join now at impactdanceeducators.com/platinum premium or click the link in our show notes.
Be sure to check out IDA affiliated competition Just Dance Invitational. Are you looking for a dance competition that features free workshop classes, free photo and video, cash prizes, and full panels of IDA judges at every event? Well, look no further than Just Dance Invitational. Just Dance Invitational will be hosting 8 different events in their 2024 season, from California to Indiana. Find them in a city near you. By supporting these young artists, their goal is to create an atmosphere that allows for empowerment, self-expression, and growth. Registration is now open for their 2024 season. Visit their website to learn more at justdanceinvitational.com. We hope to see you at an upcoming event.
Coming up in the next few weeks, look for episodes including minis who peak too early, hip-hop at competition, and our next studio spotlight.
Thanks for listening to Making the Impact. We'll see you next week. Until then, keep dancing.